I'm moving 3, and I'll speak to both 3 and 6. Yes, it is 3 and 6. So first I want to welcome the Minister and his officials here and to thank them for this legislation, which I really broadly welcome, and I think it's very positive, and I want to say that from the outset. I suppose just the 2 amendments that I have put down, and I put them down more in terms of a scoping exercise, in terms of having some very brief discussion on it, because there's a sort of a conflict of advice from people. I've spoken with the AILG and LAMA, who are the representative bodies of city and county councillors, and there has been from time to time concern raised by those members in relation to how they are covered in relation to protected disclosures. Some suggestion that they're not direct employees of the council, they're elected members, as you and I well know, but there are from time to time issues of concern. They may fall within the scope of a protected disclosure, and again you hear some terrible stories of people, not necessarily city and county councillors, who've attempted to unearth some issue of controversy, area that they may not be happy, or they may think there's a wrongdoing there, and how they have become victims really in part of that process. And that's one of the terrible shames of people who try and do the right thing by the state, report, or at least bring something to the attention requiring further investigation. So you and I know, Minister, that our city and county councillors are the coalface of our communities. They're active, they're the eyes and the ears of many people and many citizens, and therefore much passes them and much comes on their desk. So really what I'm really asking, Minister, if you might clarify, are these 2 amendments necessary? Does the scope of this legislation protect them or include them in terms of protected disclosures? Because that's really the assurance I would need. And I don't know what legal advice you've sought or what engagement with the Attorney General on these 2 particular issues, but my attempt here is today to get some reassurance from you, Minister, that the members of the AILG, the members of LAMA, our city and county councillors have protection and fall within the scope of this legislation. If you can tell me that is the case and you're comfortable with that, I'm very happy to withdraw this amendment. It is, as I say, teed up to have that just discussion, to get that clarification, and to get you to put something on the record of the House that will give the elected members of the city and county councils some comfort. Thank you, Minister.
Senator Boyhan. Senator David, do you want to come in?
Again, I'd like to certainly back Senator Boyhan's request in relation to this. I think it's a very practical measure, Minister, and I would hope that you see fit to encompass it in the proposed legislation.
David, Minister.
I'd like to thank Senators Boyhan and David for raising this issue. The 2014 Act protects workers from penalisation if they report concerns about wrongdoing or potential wrongdoing in the workplace. A worker is defined in Section 3 of the Act as being an individual who is or was an employee, a contractor, an agency worker, a work experience student pursuant to a training course, or a trainee. The Protected Disclosures Amendment Bill before us today provides at Section 4 for a significant expansion of the definition of a worker to include individuals who are shareholders, members of the administrative, management or supervisory body of an undertaking, and volunteers, as well as individuals who acquire information on a relevant wrongdoing during a recruitment process or any other pre-contractual negotiation. This expansion of the definition of worker means that local authority elected members will be protected under the bill once enacted. Specifically, this is by virtue of paragraph F. An individual who is or was a member of the administrative, management or supervisory body of an undertaking, including non-executive members. The bill provides a broad definition of worker in line with the provisions of the EU Whistleblowing Directive. It is not appropriate to narrow this definition by listing specific entities. Therefore, I do not propose to accept the amendments, but I'm happy to confirm on the record of the House that local authority members are in scope and will benefit from the protections of this bill once enacted. And I'd like to thank both senators for raising that issue.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Boyhan.
Thank you, Minister. And I suppose really that some of this has come about in terms of some engagement and conversation with Transparency International, which I'm sure you're very well aware of, and how they observe and manage these things. And as I said earlier, there were a number of councillors who engaged in various issues who found that it was very, very difficult for them. But I accept your assurances that you put on the House today that city and county councils are fully or will be fully covered when this legislation is enacted. So if you might just comment, that is my understanding. And you're happy with that? Thank you very much, Minister.
So thank you, Senator Boyhan. So what would you like to do with Amendment 3, Senator Boyhan?
Well, I'll withdraw the amendments on the basis of the Minister's
Okay, well,
assurance.
you've moved number 3 and you're asking for permission to withdraw it. Is that agreed?
Yes.
Agreed.
Agreed.
So